it out, man. Anything you guys want, we got. Anything you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Anything. You got any cigarettes? Regular or menthol?
Yo, 1990 Ninja Turtles movie. Your core audience is 6. Stop making being a member of the Foot Clan look this cool. I mean, it's bad enough you had Sam Rockwell, one of the coolest motherfuckers that ever lived, making cigarettes look awesome.
This guy boring you?
Now you got skateboard ramps, and unlimited plays on Narc, and B-boys, and cute girls with bubblegum, and what is this kid, like 6? Why does he have a fucking cigar? Like, none of this makes sense. It also doesn't make any sense you do a cross promotion with Domino's and then have Michelangelo say this.
Wise man say, forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
Right before a super incompetent pizza guy shows up and shoves the most disgusting Domino's box in human history through a fucking sewer grate.
Give me that.
I gotta get a new route.
You probably do need a new route delivery guy because you're single-handedly responsible for Domino's having no connection with Ninja Turtles ever again.
All around me are familiar faces.
And from that point forward, it was all Pizza Hut all the time. To this day, even the VHS for this movie that had Domino's in it had a Pizza Hut ad at the beginning that will be burned into the brain of anyone over a certain age in America. Guaranteed.
That's why I play in right field, way out where the dandelion.
Sweet Christ. But more important than any other cross promotion, including that one I promised myself I'd never talk about again. No.
The demon brought its foul influence upon me.
Was this one. The whole idea of being able to play an arcade game at home didn't really exist until the 16-bit console era. Play the Ninja Turtles arcade game without having to get your hands greasy or elbow 6 of the kids out of the way so you could be Michelangelo was a revelation. And up to that point, the only NES game you had to play with Ninja Turtles in it was this one, and it's weird in Japanese and I love it now, but like at the time I was just like, where's the theme song and why is it so hard? Really hard. It's actually still incredibly hard. So you had to have this game. And when you got this game, guess what was on the cover? So in the spirit of Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, we're going to cook Pizza Hut pizzas. And in the spirit of Pizza Hut pizzas, we're going to go back to their heyday in the early 90s. And in the spirit of the early 90s, we're probably going to listen to Technotronic at some point. Can't be helped. There it goes. Hi, I'm Ned. Welcome to Ned Bytes. And today... You thought I couldn't do it, but I'm actually making these names worse.
It's a talent.
Let's get started. Okay, first things first, you're going to notice this week that there is no ingredient list, and that's because I've already shown y'all how to make pizza sauce and pizza dough in a previous video, and I have timestamp links to specific spots in that video, so you can just refer to that, and the rest of it's just, cheese and whatever toppings you want. This is just mostly technique. So as you can see, this is my pizza dough. I've let it sit overnight in this case because it's just easier to work with, but you don't have to do that. Like I said in the last video, you can give it about 2 hours after you make the dough, let it rise, roughly double in size, and then start rolling it out. The thing is, it's gonna be a little more annoying to work with if you've given it that little time, but if it gives you any guff, just set a timer for 5 minutes or just walk away and come back to it. That'll give the dough a chance to relax. You can roll it out again and it won't spring back on you. So, nice floured surface, roll it out pretty thin, and then get your vehicle. I'm just using a pizza pan. Roll it out bigger than you want your pizza, obviously, so you have room to flip dough over the cheese, and I'm just using cheese sticks. This works really well, nice, solid, thick hunks of cheese in the crust, just like Pizza Hut style. And then wet the inside of the dough where the flap's gonna fold over, because we're essentially working with this like pie dough. And then fold it over your cheese sticks, get a fork, and press it down all around the edge and make sure the seal's nice and tight so it doesn't escape. As always, ream the middle of the pizza to get all the holes so there are no air bubbles in it. And then we're going to put it into a 500-degree oven, but I'd recommend you put it in at about 450 as the oven's preheating and put it on the bottom rack. The whole idea here is just to get the bottom nice and crispy. Also, make sure you have your pan really well oiled and throw it on in. Wait about 7 minutes, and when it comes out, it should just look a little blanched like this, a little par cooked. This was actually not my best crust. I was a bad cook, and a little bit of cheese leaked out, but it's fine. These things happen. I'd recommend you put a little bit of egg wash or butter on the crust on the outside. At which point, optionally, you can add a little bit of basil and oregano maybe mixed up, garlic powder, whatever you want. Give it a little you know, crust flavor, but again, totally optional. But I do recommend the butter or the egg wash just to give the crust a nice color. It'll make it look fancy, and it tastes good. Sauce, cheese, toppings, whatever you want. Put it back in the oven, this time in the center or top rack. 7 to 10 minutes, again, depending on your oven, depending on the rack. And just take it out when it looks like golden brown pizza, and you've got a stuffed crust pizza. One more tip too, don't just throw this straight, especially because it's stuffed crust, straight onto a cutting board. Put it onto a cooling rack. Otherwise the bottom tends to get really soggy and sort of chewy, and not in a good way. And now for the easy part, the personal pan pizza. Take a cast iron skillet or any really thick, heavy bottom skillet with 1 or 2 high sides on it. This is actually a teeny little cast iron skillet I have, so I'm actually having a personal pan pizza. What we're gonna do is pretty much the same process, but there's one extra step we're gonna take. Press your dough in, cold pan, a lot of oil. We're essentially frying this dough in there. That's the reason the Pizza Hut pizzas taste so good. Actually, poking it with a fork is optional. You can just sort of crush it down after we do the par cook in a second. Put it on the stovetop, turn a burner on high, and just as you start to hear it cook, take it off the burner, and then put it into the oven. Same thing though, bottom rack, 6 or 7 minutes. Take it out, add toppings, go cheese all the way out to the edges, pop it back in the oven, another 7 or so minutes at 500, and have a look underneath. You can kind of scoop it out with a spatula after it's cooled for a minute. And if it doesn't look crispy enough, you can always just put it back on a burner and just cook the bottom up a little more, and you'll have your nice, crispy, fried pizza. If you need a referral for this, I actually did an Imager album like 3 or 4 years ago, and I'll put a link in the description, and that just covers how to do the actual skillet pizza, the pan pizza, should you need a reference point and don't feel like watching the video again. Believe me, I have to hear my own voice to edit these. I get tired of it too. And yeah, this is a pretty short video this week. It's just because I got something planned for next week, and you know, this is my first video in a while.
Por favor, por donde fallan, muchas gracias, te falla gracias.
What the hell was that? Couldn't possibly have been a preview. Anyway, thanks for watching. Enjoy your pizza. And one of your arms starts to go numb, you should probably call a doctor. It's not. Excellent outro, Ned. Amazing as always. Jesus Christ. 3 months off till you get better at doing the fucking outros. No! Fucking idiot.
Pork rind? Pork rind.